Let's talk San Diego State football. Time to talk to the Aztecs Coaches Day. Rocky Long joins us on the Newsmaker line here on Sports Watch. Coming off the bye week, you had ones versus ones. You gave a ton of snaps, twos versus twos. Mentally and physically, it's probably important for your kids to get away from the grind a little bit. It's also good for your kids, especially twos versus twos, to get those snaps. Pretty fruitful bye week?
Yeah, I think so. I think we had some great competition, which added to how well we practiced with the energy we practiced. When you go ones against ones, twos against twos, it gets pretty competitive, and I think that makes you better. We also got to scrimmage some of our guys that aren't playing any, that are being redshirted or haven't played much, and they need some full-speed work because as the season goes along, you get injuries, and those guys are going to have to step in and play well.
When we started this thing Labor Day weekend, you said one of the most critical things for you would be to find young guys in the defensive line who would be able to rotate and be competitive. Which of the young kids in the D-line, backups if you will, or guys in the rotation, have taken the biggest step forward?
Well, I think we're still trying to find them. I think that we've tried a bunch of different guys there, and some of them have gotten beat up, and now they're healthy again, and they have not played very well. They've been very inconsistent. They show signs of being okay at times, and then other times we're at a real disadvantage there. So they haven't made the progress that we had hoped so far. Now, it's still early in the season, and I can't pick out anybody specifically. Now, Jordan Thomas, who played a little bit last year, is now starting, and he's a young guy. He's a true sophomore, and he's been playing pretty good. But the guys we're counting on for that backup depth, they haven't stepped forward yet.
The running back situation, Ronnie Hillman's star status. Walter Casey is starting to give you some really valuable snaps. I think he's been productive in the cameo appearances. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think he does. I think he gives us a little different feel. They're very basically the same running back. Ronnie's a little bit faster and maybe a little more elusive. Walter runs downhill a little bit better, runs a little more powerful, a little stronger. So they complement each other, and I think Walter's done a great job in his backup position.
I have been so impressed with Alec Johnson, playing with a broken hand and snapping with the left hand. What's that challenge been like?
I think it was a challenge because someone trained him to snap with his right hand, but nobody knew this until it happened. He is left-handed, naturally left-handed. So I'm sure the transition wasn't near as bad for him as it would have been for somebody else, and he's done a nice job.
How about the shotgun snap, though? Is that not a different feel and a different snap to it?
Well, yeah, it is. But there again, being left-handed, naturally, he said he didn't have any trouble with it at all. In fact, he used to snap left-handed, and when he got here, someone changed him to right-handed, so he's had some practice with that left hand.
Rocky Long with us, talk to the Aztecs Coaches Day, TCU Week. Let me ask you about Texas Christian. They've had two losses in which they gave up an absolute ton of yards and a ton of points. That's not vintage TCU football. Is it just a byproduct, a lot of young guys on defense?
Well, they lost a lot of seniors off that team, but they're still really, really talented, and they will be the fastest team we play all year, overall team speed. What's happened is they've played two great offensive football teams. Baylor and their quarterback are unbelievable. I mean, going into last week's game, I heard he'd only thrown 7 incomplete passes and no interceptions, so that's unbelievable. SMU is extremely talented and explosive on offense. So I think it's more the teams they've played than them themselves.
Let me ask about Clayton Patchell. A little bit different quarterback than Andy Dalton. Big, tall, stands in the pocket. Guy does not throw interceptions. I think he's completing 70% of his passes. What do you see in this young TCU quarterback? Because he really looks productive.
He's very talented. He's not the runner that Dalton was. And obviously he's gaining experience as he plays because he's not, Dalton was a 4-year starter. But what he does do is he's got a great arm, and he's more accurate than Dalton was with the football, and that's why he's completing so many passes.
Ed Wesley is back as the lead veteran running back, but I think they're running 3 different guys through there and an offense that's averaging 440 yards per game.
Yeah, they're good at wide receiver. They're good at running back. They've got a lot of them. They've got great speed in all those skill positions. Yeah, they're a really good football team, and I think that the 2 games they lost, they just got outscored.
You spent so much time down there on the border when you were at New Mexico and you looked across the state line. You used to recruit into Texas. How did TCU get so good?
Well, number one, they have a lot of really good athletes within a 50-mile radius in the state of Texas. High school football is king. So they have a lot to choose from. Now, basically, they've done a great job of evaluation, and they've picked the guys that are not the five-star recruits, the guys that will end up at Texas or Oklahoma, and they've evaluated the other guys and picked some really good athletes to play. Plus, they have recruited a lot of running backs that have now transferred to other positions, defensive line, DB, tight ends, all those sort of things. So they've got a lot of great athletes out there that are good speed guys, and they've done it all through recruiting.
Gary Patterson, 41-5 in the last group of years. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
It is. He's done a great job there. He took a good product and made it better, and there's very few teams. I think they're one of the top 3 teams in the country since he's been the head coach, winning percentage-wise.
A little bit different style of program, and we all know about red shirts and growing your own, et cetera, and building it. He's got 13 graduate student players. Is that kind of the exception to the rule in Division I?
Yeah, I think it is, but I think that's an indication of how good they are. So you come in as a freshman, you're an excellent player that could play as a freshman, but the talent level is so good you don't play as a freshman, so you get extra time in school. And then you get to play as a fifth-year senior, and a lot of those kids have graduated, which gives them a little more time to concentrate on football, and that's what good programs do.
So dial back. What's the key to this thing? You got Lindley, you got Hillman, and how do you attack them? And then conversely, what do you need to do to slow down an offense? Like I say, it's averaging 440.
Well, number one, I don't think you're going to slow them down. You're going to try to keep them out of the end zone as much as you can. And number two, your offense has to have a good day. We've got to score some points. Our offense has to move the ball, keep the ball away from them, and score some points. Now, the idea is to keep it close, and then turnovers or a big momentum shift in the kicking game will decide who wins.
Good stuff. Appreciate the time, Rock. We'll see you out there. Thank you so much.
All right, Lee. Thank you.